Recording live in the Lucky Number 7 Lounge, this is Dine, Drink Vegas, the podcast by and for everybody stuck at home, wishing they were in the land of neon lights and bad decisions. I'm your host, John, also known as the Baller on a Budget, and you've stumbled across episode number 78. This is a solo expedition. Bill is off on assignment in Ireland. He'll be back in time for us to record our St. Patrick's Day episode. But for tonight, I'm going to bring you my choice in booze and some Las Vegas news. We start off with the drink of the day. We're calling this one John's Laphroig Old Fashioned. So I'm making this because Bill's not here. Bill is not a big Scotch fan. We've covered that. He really doesn't like smoky scotches. So when Bill's away, I will play. I've got Laphroig Select in my glass, about 2 ounces. I hit that with double dashes, both of Angostura Regular and Angostura Orange Bitters, and about a bar spoon of Luxardo del Santo to provide sweetness and an herbal bouquet. Now, what you get, if you're familiar with Laphroig, is a smoky, peaty, meaty, medicinal flavor that I can only describe as smoked ham and camphophenique, the medicine that baby boomers and Gen Xers know from our mothers putting on our wounds. It is very smoky. It is very medicinal. And when you pair it with the herbs and the bitters, the medicinal notes are stronger and stronger, but I think in a good way. I'm going to take another sip. That is intense. It is a little bit chemically not really chemically. It is pungently herbal. It is earthy. It is smoky. It is medicinal. But if you really like strong, intense flavors, if you like a little hint of licorice, a whole lot of herbs, and a little bit of smoke, it really does the trick. This is not an old fashioned for everyone. But you know what? It works for me. I know when Bill actually hears this, his response will be something along the lines of, "Bleh." Well, with Bill's absence, this will be a shorter episode, but I do want to run down some of the Las Vegas news that I thought was interesting. We're going to start, as we typically do on this podcast, with Scott of Vital Vegas, who reported that those rumors about Caesars possibly selling to Tilman Fertitta, which Bill and I talked about in the last episode, have heated up to the point that the Wall Street Journal is now reporting that there are exclusive negotiations taking place between Ambassador Fertitta and the Caesars organization. Scott points out that if the deal happens, Fertitta might spin off some of the 50 properties Caesars owns in Vegas and beyond. We know they have a lot of gambling locations, casinos, those sort of things. We don't know that Mr. Tilman wants to hold all of those. It does give him a footprint on the Strip. He may not even keep all of those. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But it also opens up the possibility of seeing many of his Landry's restaurants coming to the Strip in some of those Caesars locations, which is surely a blow to every celebrity chef who's hoping to be the next Bobby Flay or Gordon Ramsay, who can just open up endless variations of whatever they cook on a Caesars property. Personally, I think having some Landry's locations on the Strip wouldn't be all bad. I think the rest of the world should get to know some of Mr. Fertitta's dining options. Scott also shared that the Conrad at Resorts World is offering all-inclusive packages with lodging at the Conrad, that is the swankiest of the 3 hotels at Resorts World, along with lodging, also valet parking, prefix lunch and dinner options. That's right. Chef-crafted menus for both lunch and dinner at several of their high-end restaurants. Access to Club 66, that's their high-floor drinking lounge with a phenomenal view. Club Zouk, which is where people that are way younger than either Bill and I go to hang out. And the pool. I do wish Bill was on this episode because this sounds like the perfect thing for the high roller. To me, it's plenty of baller, little out of my budget, but if you happen to have a little bit of money and you're comfortable being at Resorts World for your whole stay, or at least lunch and dinner your whole stay, that might be something you need to look into. Las Vegas locally shared that one of the new self-serving Zook robotaxis got into an accident with a human-driven RTC bus on Wednesday, March the 10th. No injuries or serious vehicular damage reported, and the human bus driver appears to be at fault, or so our new robot overlords would have us believe, and I greet you, robot overlords. Las Vegas Vibes, which is a Facebook account I follow, and several other outlets that cover Vegas news, sports news, and celebrity news, shared photos of NFL quarterback Joe Burrow hanging out with the recently divorced actress Jessica Alba at what looks to be the win based on my analysis of the carpet in the picture behind them, further cementing Burrow's legendary status. So, hat tip to you, Joe Burrow. I hope a good time was had by all. Vegas.com has a list of things to do on or leading up to St. Patrick's Day, including Celtic Fest at Brooklyn Bridge at New York. That'll be on the 15th, a couple of days before St. Patrick's Day. Of course, Nine Fine Irishmen there at New York will also have plenty of things going on for the festivities. They also listed a whole bunch of other things you could do and shows you could see. None of them were really St. Patrick's Day themed. I suppose Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, if you squint. Me personally, I would just go hang out at Re-Raw. The Neon blog reports that Texas donut seller Shipley's is opening 3 Vegas locations. Although, folks, I am a proud Texan and I hate to say it, Shipley's is the middest of the mid. It is a subpar donut. It is the donut that makes the grocery store and gas station donut look good by comparison. I'm sorry to any listeners in Houston. I know this is sacrilege. Perhaps it's just that the Shipley's franchise locations out on my arid end of the state aren't very good. Perhaps the other locations in Houston are better and Vegas will get one of those. But I got to say, doesn't look good to me. All right. Vegas Publicity reports that on April 29th, legendary rockers Journey will take a break from arena shows to perform poolside at Red Rock as part of their farewell tour. Now, this really is marvelous because that kind of intimate outdoor venue show with a pool vibe and everything is so different than what we usually get from these legacy bands making their first or even their 17th farewell tour. I won't be able to make it to Vegas for April 29th, but folks, if you are old enough that your back hurts when you get out of bed, you probably sing along to every Journey song on the radio. You should get yourself over to that. Finally tonight, and what I did promise would be a short episode, our Vegas WTF story of the night. Canadian tourist / millionaire Mitchell Fairbairn was arrested for injuring several flamingos at the Flamingo, even kidnapping one, I believe named Peachy, and taking the poor bird to his hotel room for God knows what. Although several of the birds were injured, none of them horribly so, and all survived, so that's the good news. This gentleman was indicted and had to pay a rather substantial $12,000 cash bond. He is facing felony charges, and we do hope they nail his hide to the barn door or send him back to Canada and make him eat their fake bacon for the rest of his life. To our Canadian listeners, we love you. Not so much your bacon, but you, we love. Now, we like to keep this podcast clean, and I can't say all of the things I would like to say about this gentleman. As it turns out, Scott at Vital Vegas does not have this policy. So if you want to hear some unfiltered thoughts on exactly what everybody should think of the man who tortured these poor birds, head on over to the Vital Vegas blog and see what Scott wrote. Well, with that, I'm not going to belabor this episode. It's not as much fun without my broadcast partner to banter back and forth. So I'll just remind you, as Bill would, that if you want to check out more Dine, Drink, Travel, and Dine, Drink, Vegas content, you can find Bill's videos. Occasionally I make one over on YouTube at Dine, Drink, Travel if what you want is non-Vegas related, especially hotels and airport luxury lounges, or for Vegas content at Dine Drink Vegas. You can also find Bill as at Dine Drink Vegas on just about every platform over there, and yours truly hangs out on X Twitter at Dine Drink John, where I'm happy to talk to you about all things Vegas, all things booze, all things barbecue, all things coffee, and why I feel once again like Charlie Brown trying to kick a ball from Lucy, watching my Dallas Cowboys mess up free agency and letting Max Crosby slip through our fingers. We're so glad you took the time to listen to us. If you have a friend who needs some travel tips for their next Las Vegas journey, or an enemy that doesn't want to listen to old fat white people drink and talk, please share our podcast with them. By doing so, you will help us grow an audience so we can keep bringing you this fantastic, free of charge Las Vegas travel information. Next episode, we're going to talk about St. Patrick's Day and Bill's experiences in Ireland. We hope that you will tune back in. Thanks so much for listening, and as always, happy travels. Man, that was quicker and easier without Bill. That's what she said.